Hello everyone. This week's topic is a bit technical in nature. I'll try my best to make it simple and easily understandable. So topic for this week is Mr. K.V. Kamath's recommendation submitted to RBI. On 7th August 2020, RBI has constituted an expert committee under the chairmanship of Mr. K.V. Kamath to recommend the financial parameters to be used in resolution plans under resolution framework for COVID-related stress. So RBI has given a 30-day period for the committee to come back, and they promptly submitted their recommendation on 4th of September 2020. So their recommendations were accepted by RBI in toto. So what is the job that was given to the committee? In market parlance, we call it as terms of reference. So essentially, they have been asked to suggest the financial parameters that should be used or factored into resolution plans, sector-specific ranges for the financial parameters. Financial parameter is nothing but the different ratios which are used to study the financial health of the company. Then any other non-financial or financial conditions to be incorporated as part of a resolution plan. So these are all basically the work that has been assigned to the committee. Let us look into the salient features of the recommendations. First is eligibility. So whether this resolution framework is eligible en masse or is it specific. So this resolution plan is applicable for corporate borrowings, which means that the personal loans are out of scope. So this is intended for those companies which are doing very well in the normal course, but they are impacted because of COVID related issues. In other words, the company's loan should be standard in the lender's book as on 1st March 2020, and there should not be any arrears in the last 30 days. In other words, the borrower should have serviced all the obligations as of end March 2020. So this is the eligibility criteria. Whether this loan is available, this loan or the regulatory resolution framework is available throughout, not really. So the resolution framework must be invoked on or before 31st December 2020. Once it is invoked, it should be implemented within 180 days. So what it means is, normally a loan, a big loan will not be contributed by only one lender. So there will be a group of lenders, we call it as consortium of banks or lenders, who will contribute to bigger loans. So in such a scenario, if the 60% of the consortium of lenders or 75% of the value of the loan is approved, then this loan or the resolution plan is said to be invoked. So, and as I said, after invoke, within 180 days, it should be implemented. In other words, so this resolution framework should be implemented much before 30th June 2021. So, as per the conditions provided. So, also the other thing to be noticed here is, when I said about resolution and when I speak about consortium of lender, there are some lenders who among themselves sign an agreement, which they call it as creditor agreement, and it's optional, so some may choose not to sign. So when such an agreement is signed, it should be signed within 30 days of invoking this resolution framework. And also those ICA lenders or in those signed the creditor agreement, they have to provide for 10% of the loan amount, and provision of 20% is applicable for non-ICA lenders. So that's also another important thing to be noted. So this loan, so this resolution plan, so invoked and implemented within 180 days. It is available. Is there any extension of tenor? Yes, there are. Basically, the residual tenor of the existing loan can be extended up to a maximum of 2 years, with or without moratorium period. So moratorium is nothing but a lead time available before the borrower makes the first installment payment. So that's a moratorium period. So, and any loan size of 100 crores and beyond has to be mandatorily subject to independent credit evaluation process done by credit rating agencies approved by RBI. The other point to be noted here is basically default. I mean, any loan has got its own risk. So what is the default mechanism here? So I initially told about ICA lenders and non-ICA lenders. So when the borrower default first time to any of the ICA lenders, then a 30-day review period is triggered, which means within 30 days he has to regularize the account. If you fail to do so, then this loan becomes a non-performing asset, not only in the specific lender towards whom the borrower has defaulted, but also this account will become a NPA account across all 5 lenders, both ICA and non-ICA. So that's a very stringent one as per the recommendation. The other worst part is the NPA period will not start from the day of default, but from the date the invocation, the loan is invoked, or from the date if this counterparty has been an NPA in bank's books previously, the NPA period starts from there. So that's the worst part from borrower's perspective. From bank's perspective, it is the best thing. So these are basically the salient features of the recommendations. Let us look at the methodology adopted for the recommendations and the recommendation in per se. So the first and foremost task of this committee is to identify those sectors which are severely impacted by COVID. For this purpose, they held a discussion with various industrial bodies, of course, through digital platforms, and also walked through the RBI's Financial Stability Report and other publications, and basis which they basically identified 26 sectors to which this resolution framework applies. What it means is only companies which are within the 26 sectors can only for whom this resolution plan is applicable, and the resolution plan is applicable, and I spoke about they have also classified the loans. So based on the severity, they have classified the companies as mild, moderate, and severe. So the companies with mild and moderate categories, they have suggested a framework of simple restructuring, and a comprehensive restructuring will be applicable for severe categories. So they have also came out with those financial parameters which I spoke in the beginning. So there are 5 financial parameters which have been considered. The first financial parameter is total outside liability divided by adjusted tangible net worth. Second ratio is total debt by EBITDA, which is earnings before interest, tax, dividend and amortization. Current ratio is the third parameter. Fourth ratio is debt service ratio, and fifth one is adjusted debt coverage ratio. So these are all the 5 parameters which they have proposed, And then the recommendation is, to facilitate the lenders to come out or the guide the resolution process is basically to assess the severity, mild, moderate or severe categories, is based on the ratios in the pre-COVID level and the ratios, the 5 ratios which I said in Q1, Q2 of financial year 2021. So basically based on which they can assess the severity and accordingly and subsequent they have also added that for solvency ratio, which is the first 2 ratios, the companies should adhere or meet the desired ratio given for the first within financial year 2023. For rest of the 3 ratios, the recommended ratios should be met on or before financial year 2022. So these are all the broadly the KV committee's recommendations. To sum up, as I said, it is basically applicable for only the companies which are otherwise doing good but facing hardship because of COVID-related issues, and which is right thing to do because and only to those specific sectors which are significantly affected because of COVID. So that's the best thing to do, because if we do en masse, it is going to impact the already impacted the balance sheet of the banks. So that's about for this week, and if you like my videos, please subscribe if you're not already done, and do share with your friends so that they will also get benefited. For any questions, please update in the comments column so that I can respond as soon as possible. Until we meet next week, cheers, take care, bye bye.